One love, family. To my melanated family and conscious brothers and sisters around the world, I am Brother Tommy, and it is time to get it in. One love, family. This video is going to be discussing the poisoning of our food. I know I focus a lot of my time on being healthy, trying to eat healthy, trying to be conscious of what's I put in my system, trying to take advantage of superfoods, exercising, wanting to do the best I can to stay present for myself and my family, especially my children, for everybody around me. But if you have a government that's just going behind your back on a consistent basis, allowing things that most countries won't even, other countries have already banned them, but they're allowing them in this country. So we're going to discuss this article, and it's going to just point out how they are just literally poisoning our food on a massive scale and the seriousness in which we don't realize it. But we're going to start with this little Tucker Carlson point of view. Now, I'm showing you this Tucker Carlson video because this is the outraged white conservative of we're losing our country. What the heck is going on? It's not like the good old days. The white guys who or the white people who forgot that, hey, we stole this country. It ain't ours in the first place. So they keep wanting to, go with that lie. But they're more on point than that so-called woke crew over there to the left that's willing to go anywhere with this madness. So I'm just going to show you that he makes some very good points. So a lot of people understand that something that's not right is going on, but they don't feel empowered enough to do anything about it. So let's listen to what old Tucker got to say, and then we're going to move into this article, which really points out what he's saying as well in terms of what the media is talking about and what the media is not talking about. And when it comes to the important things that will save your life, the things that will help you prosper as a person, as a family, as a unit, they're not going to talk about those things on the media. And I'm going to use what he says as an example for the poisoning in which they're putting in our food. They definitely ain't talking about it in the media.
Good evening, it's Tucker Carlson. One of the first things you realize when you step outside the noise for a few days is how many genuinely nice people there are in this country. Kind and decent people who really care about what's true, and a bunch of hilarious people also, a lot of those. It's got to be the majority of the population, even now. So that's heartening. The other thing you notice when you take a little time off is how unbelievably stupid most of the debates you see on television are. They're completely irrelevant. They mean nothing. In 5 years, we won't even remember that we had them. Trust me, as someone who's participated.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. The media is full of a bunch of garbage. Remember, I did a video called Mind Control in the United States. It's all about distraction. To take the God mind or the God conscious off of its focus, you have to have a distraction. Because without the distraction, it can't get you.
And yet at the same time, and this is the amazing thing, the undeniably big topics, the ones that will define our future, get virtually no discussion at all. War, civil liberties, emerging science, demographic change, corporate power, natural resources.
All things that if they did discuss would make people very consciously aware of their current status in the situation in this country. So they stay away from those type of topics and keep them behind closed doors, throw up a bunch of garbage, which is distraction. Therefore, the system continues.
When was the last time you heard a legitimate debate about any of those issues? It's been a long time. Debates like that are not permitted in American media. Both political parties and their donors have reached consensus on what benefits them, and they actively collude to shut down any conversation about it. Suddenly, the United States looks very much like a one-party state. That's a depressing realization, but it's not permanent. Our current orthodoxies won't last. They're brain dead. Nobody actually believes them. Hardly anyone's life is improved by them. This moment is too inherently ridiculous to continue, and so it won't. The people in charge know this. That's why they're hysterical and aggressive. They're afraid. They've given up persuasion. They're resorting to force. But it won't work. When honest people say what's true, calmly and without embarrassment, they become powerful. At the same time, the liars who've been trying to silence them shrink, and they become weaker. That's the iron law of the universe. True things prevail. Where can you still find Americans saying true things? There aren't many places left, but there are some, and that's enough. As long as you can hear the words, there is hope. See you soon. Good evening, it's Tucker Carlson.
What that is, family,
one of the first things you realize.
The global elite white man flipping the script on the common white man. But what the common white man doesn't know is that the global elite done flipped the script on you a long time ago when he put the U.S. citizenship 14th Amendment game on you as well as everybody else. So they're always crying and complaining about the country that they once had or the country that they once knew. But it's the stolen country, and that's the bottom line, and it's not their country at all. So let's get down to the topic of what we were going to talk about when it comes to poisoning and when it comes to our food and our health. So Tucker was absolutely correct. When it comes to real things, you will not hear about them in the news. They're not going to talk about them. They're not going to discuss them. It just wouldn't benefit them, for so many things that's going on to be exposed. So let's check this out, family. So this article says they are literally poisoning our food on a massive scale. And the most people don't even realize it, what is happening. Most people don't even realize what is happening. Okay. Have you ever heard of neonicotinoids? Most of you probably have not. And that is exactly what the giant agricultural corporations want. They don't want you to know that crops all over the United States are literally being pre-poisoned with harmful insecticides that are having a nightmarish impact on the environment. And most of our politicians will never do anything about this because they are being showered with campaign donations by the companies that are doing the poisoning. Yeah, that's what really makes it weird for me that, people believe in this political system the way they do. They see how the candidates pander to corporations and people with money, and just people continuing to buy into the idea that they're fighting for you. Come on. Yeah, okay. So millions upon millions of pounds of neonicotinoids will continue to be used every single year. And most Americans will never have any idea what these insecticides are doing to the world around them. On Wednesday, so now it goes into talking about that Tucker Carlson and what he said. How he's right about that unbelievably stupid conversations being had on TV. So they're talking about so much of the chatter on television is complete nonsense. So in this article, I'm going to try to address something that really matters. If you are not familiar with neonicotinoids, this is how they are defined by Texas A&M. Neonicotinoids are a new class of insecticides chemically related to nicotine. Oh, I have a video called 13 little known deceptions about caffeine, caffeine or coffee, the coffee deception, because they got people falsely thinking that's healthy for them. The name literally means new nicotine, like insecticides. Like nicotine, the neonicotinoids act on certain kinds of receptors in the nerve synapse. They are much more toxic to invertebrates like insects than they are to mammals, birds, and other higher organisms. One thing that has made neonicotinoids insects popular in pest control is their water solubility, which allows them to be applied to soil and to be taken up by plants. Today, many seeds that our farmers use actually come pre-coated with Neonicotinoids. Pre-coded, family. I was greatly alarmed when I first learned that, and you should be greatly alarmed as well. Our crops are literally pre-poisoned before they even sprout. After seeing the impact that neonicotinoids had on the environment, Europe banned them. And that's to say another thing. Europe has banned several things that the United States still allows to go down. You need to really look at that as well. I don't know if, you know, based upon population, amount of melanated people in the society, maybe that's a wholly white society. They're looking to preserve it over there. So they'll, try to keep it real with them on certain levels. Who knows? But they ban several substances that they allow over here. But is it to get to us, to get to those genes? So, but they are still legal here in the United States, even though they have been blamed for killing bees on an absolutely massive scale. That's horrible. I mean, we know how intricate nature is and the intelligent mind that created it and the things it needs to do its magic. And you're literally creating products that destroy that process, and you cool with it? Here it goes. So since the introduction of systematic neonicotinoids pesticides, both honeybees and wild native pollinators have experienced ongoing catastrophic declines. In some years, such as the 2015 to 2016 season, beekeepers experienced an average of 44% colony loss, with some beekeepers losing their entire business. The scientific literature shows that the use of these chemicals results in exposed pollinators suffering impaired foraging, navigational, and learning behavior, as well as increased susceptibility to mites and pathogens. This threatens the sustainability of the global food supply. Particularly nutrient-dense fruiting foods that depend on bees and other pollinators. According to the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, of the 100 crop species that provide 90% of global food, 71 are pollinated by bees. So come on, family. Here you are killing off the very bees that bring us what we need, and especially when they're talking about nutrient dense foods, fruiting foods, nutrient dense. We need those to stay healthy. And they're putting out an insecticide that kills off and breaks off that process. Of course, it isn't just bees that are dying. According to an incredible article that has just been published by The Intercept, countless other species have been hit really hard as well. Honeybees have captured almost all the attention of the dangers of neonics, but they are hardly the only species in decline because of the chemical. Studies have tied neonics to the disappearance of native bees, butterflies, mayflies, dragonflies, amphipods, and a range of waterborne insects, as well as earthworms and other insect invertebrates. Several species of bumblebees in the US and Europe are approaching extinction. A die-off researchers say is tied to the use of neonics and other pesticides. Wow, that's horrible. So, also, okay, family. So, in September, a study released in the academic journal Science revealed that migrating songbirds suffered immediate weight loss following the consumption of only one or two seeds treated with neonics. Previous research had linked disappearing insect life to dwindling food sources for birds in the Netherlands, but the science study provided the evidence that bird species were directly affected by the chemical. And another groundbreaking study published in Nature Scientific report shows that neonics are likely causing serious birth defects in white-tailed deer. The first time research has shown that the chemical compound could endanger large animals. Yeah, so this chemical is really causing some serious problems in nature. It's breaking the actual cycle and chain. Makes you wonder where they create it from, how they come up with this kind of stuff. Because these insecticides are so widely used, this is literally no escaping them. There's literally no escaping them. In fact, neonicotinoids have been found in streams, rivers, and drinking water systems all over the world. Millions of pounds of the chemical are applied to 140 commercial crops every year. In the US, nearly all field planted corn and 2/3 of soybean use neonic coated seeds. The chemical is found in soil samples from coast to coast, in waterways, and in drinking water. Neonics, which are water soluble, have been detected in the American River in California, the River Waveney in England, tap water in Iowa City, and hundreds of other streams and rivers across the world. In Brazil last year, after President Jair Bolsonaro's government approved dozens of new pesticides, the use of neonics caused the death of more than 500 million bees across the country. In August, a study published in peer-reviewed journal POOS One found that the American landscape has become 48 times more toxic to insects. Wow, 48 times more toxic to insects since the 1990s, a shift largely fueled by the rising application of neonics. Wow, family. I mean, just killing the environment. Just woo. I mean, you know you're dealing with something there when I mean everybody wants to move forward and have things, but when you know the things that you're pushing for literally kill the natural things around you, makes you wonder what kind of energy, what kind of vibration, what kind of frequency level you on when you want to move forward with those type of thoughts. So so it says this is the kind of issue that our politicians should be talking about, but they're not. Instead, the giant agricultural companies are assuring us that the food that has been saturated with these poisons is perfectly safe for us to eat. Like he said, yeah, right. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention, family. There's an extremely horrible pesticide that they are now using on all foods, being found in rivers everywhere, um, causing damage. Neonicotinoids or something like that, family. You can figure it out. I can't pronounce it that good, but man, need to look it up and see where it's at around you so that you can protect yourself and your family. I appreciate you for listening, family. Thanks for tuning into the Melanated Roots channel. We are a global melanated family. And until the next video, peace.